continuing with the Keanu-thon, and today I'll be talking about reviewing the 1996 film Chain Reaction, which stars Keanu Reeves. You also have Morgan Freeman in the film, Rachel Weisz, Brian Cox, and directed by Andrew Davis. Now, Andrew Davis back in the day directed Dakota Silence with Chuck Norris, Above the Law with Steven Seagal, classic, Under Siege with Steven Seagal, and of course later on directed Collateral Damage with Arnold. Yeah, great action director, and I'm a fan of Andrew Davis. And Chain Reaction is a good one. And the story here is you have Keanu's character. He's a student, Eddie, and he's part of this research team, and they've experienced a breakthrough with a stable form of fusion that may lead to a waste-free energy source. But one night, the lab gets sabotaged, and one of the researchers were murdered, along with some stolen technology. So soon Eddie and Rachel Weisz's character are framed for murder. And Morgan Freeman's character in the film, as his character Shannon, and kind of a shady character. He's part of this company that, wants to, they have interest in the technology. And Brian Cox is our villain in the film, this chairman of this company that wants to replicate the technology. Meanwhile, our main characters are on the run from the FBI, and they want to clear their names. And that's pretty much the story, the plot of the film. But, like I said, Chain Reaction, it's kind of, I know some people out there have compared it to The Fugitive, or it's like a light version of The Fugitive. But I still like it. I mean, starting off with the cast, Keanu Reeves, did a good job in the film as this character Eddie. I thought, he was a good lead. And I was reading too, because I read something in the trivia for A Walk in the Clowns that, like, before making that film or while making it, Keanu got hurt playing hockey and like busted his lip and required stitches and stuff. And I think before this film, or before they started filming, he also, so I don't know if it was the same hockey game. I wrote it down in the trivia here, but it says right here, prior to the start of filming, Keanu had injured himself playing a pickup game of hockey in Canada and injured his neck and back areas, causing him to gain weight, which explains his look in the film. So, yeah. So, was it the same game which he busted his lip for Walking the Clowns? Maybe Keanu should have not played hockey around this time. Which I know he played hockey in high school, but, or I think he did play hockey in high school back in the day. So, but still, I mean, aside from that, Keanu did a good job as this lead character, Eddie. Again, you have Rachel Weisz in the film, and, I think later on they would do Constantine, which is a great movie. Morgan Freeman, this character Shannon, he's part of the secret group, and again, his character's kind of shady, and then by the end of the film, spoiler alert, he kills Brian Cox, and he does a good job in the film. You also have Brian Cox, which I mentioned, he's our villain here. He was in X-Men 2, he was in, was it Long Kiss Goodnight? He was in that, great actor, and he did a good job as a villain. You also have Fred Ward in the film, and funny enough, Keanu and Fred Ward, they were prior to this, and The Prince of Pennsylvania. That's a weird movie, but it was nice to see Fred Ward in this as this FBI agent, and his partner is played by Kevin Dunn. And Kevin Dunn, you've seen before, he was in Godzilla '98, he was in that, Small Soldiers. And I was reading too as well that these two characters are loosely based on the characters of Tom Lee Jones's character in The Fugitive and Joey Pants. Those two characters in The Fugitive, they're both U.S. Marshals. And this one, Fred Ward and Kevin Dunn, are the FBI, and they're chasing Keanu Reeves and, trying to unfold this situation. But again, I thought Fred Ward and Kevin Dunn, they were good in the film. I love Fred Ward. From Tremors. I still haven't seen Remo Williams, and I feel bad. He was in Tremors 2. He was in Escape from Alcatraz with Eastwood, and I liked him here. Um, and some other recognizable cast people in the cast. I mean, you had Chelsea Ross, who was Colonel Oates in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So it's interesting how some of these actors come back later. Um, Zai Ma, this guy, he was in Rush Hour. You've seen this guy before. He was the Consul Han in Rush Hour. So, yeah, you've seen him before. I know he's in the new Mulan movie. And, so I mean, really good cast here. Some recognizable faces, actors that Keanu has worked with before this. So, really good cast. And really good direction from Andrew Davis. And again, I know I said before how, this film, some people feel it's like a lighter version of The Fugitive, but I thought Andrew Davis did a good job directing and, you know, executing on the thrills. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some bits of action in the film. Okay, for instance, like you have the airboat scene, that which I liked. You have this little chase in a museum between Keanu, like Keanu's being chased in this museum. Cool scene. And then by the end of the film, you have some good action in this plant where, Brian Cox, again, he wants the technology. And then at the end of the film, Keanu's character and Rachel Weisz are in this like silo, and this explosion happens, and they're in this elevator, and it shoots up, and the elevator kind of bounces like that. It's pretty cool. Some good action in the end, and again, you get some good spurts of action throughout the film with good suspense. Really good score too for by Jerry Goldsmith. Almost forgot to mention, I thought the score was good by Jerry Goldsmith. Rest in peace. Moved at a good pace, and just trying to figure out what else to mention here. And I know around this time too, well, and the thing with Andrew Davis, like he would film a lot of his films in Chicago. It says right here, filmed almost in the winter of 95 and early 96 in Chicago, the hometown of Andrew Davis, where he also shot Code of Silence and Above the Law, The Package, The Fugitive. So, yeah. And the film's budget, first off, came out in August of 96 with a budget of $50 million, and it made $60 million at the box office. I think currently holds like a 5.7 on IMDb, which I think it deserves a little bit higher than that. I think it came out to, let's see what it says on Wikipedia in regards to reception. Reception came out to mostly negative reviews, 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, Roger Ebert gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4. San Francisco Chronicle felt the film was one of the summer's best movie, writing chain reaction as better acting, better writing, more spectacular chase sequences, and more genuine drama than all of the summer's blockbusters. But also, Keanu was nominated for Razzie for Worst Actor, which he lost to Tom Arnold and Pauly Shore. I don't think he deserved a Razzie. I mean, come on. Kiss my ass, Razzies. Keanu did fine in the film. He was good. I mean, it's not going to be like, when it comes to this film Chain Reaction, it's not going to be a favorite of mine when it comes to Keanu, but I didn't think it was bad in the film. I thought he did a good job as the lead. And again, like good spurts of action throughout, some good suspense, some good shots of the city. And, I mean, you also have Morgan Freeman. You have Brian Cox and Fred Ward, Kevin Dunn. Again, just a good cast here with a good score from Jerry Goldsmith. Moved at a good pace. So, yeah, I mean, I was trying to think what else I can throw in this review. But okay, like some other trivia here, I can mention the drawbridge sequence where Keanu's being chased by the Chicago PD. Um, FBI and Brian Cox's henchmen took approximately 1 week of night shoots to film with temperatures ranging from 5 below to 20 below. So that's crazy. Um, the scene in which Keanu barely escapes on a motorcycle was shot mainly with blue screens and explosion effects added in post-production. The live sequences had Reeves riding a motorcycle hooked up to the back of the truck with a camera filming tight close-ups. And yes, Keanu and Rachel Weisz would go on to be in Constantine, which is a great movie. Um, I think the Brian Cox role was originally going to be played by Tom Lee Jones, but he may have been doing I don't know what at this time. I know he was probably coming off Batman Forever. James Newton Howard was originally going to score the film. Um, so yeah, some interesting stuff. You know, information on the film. But I mean, at the end of the day, again, Chain Reaction. It's a good little action movie. Again, it's not going to be a favorite of mine with Keanu, but you know, again, good thrills, good spurts of action with a good cast, and from the director of, The Fugitive and Under Siege, and I thought, you know, good movies, so, from Andrew Davis. But that's my review of Chain Reaction, and next up, I'll be reviewing Filling Minnesota. So stay tuned for that, and have a good one.